just what to do.
You take this.
We interrupt this program.
Oh, baby! A throwback! Roll call! Welcome to America, son! Whoa! Demon! Blah, blah, blah. Another drop tour! Oh my God!
Called it.
No super.
EX uppercut. No super though. And take advantage of the air at the CD
Can
counters.
Haas take it?
Oh!
Oh!
What is going on? Who took it? Oh! 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 Oh!
CMD Duck did his super with Benimaru. I came in with Kyo with his CD, and nobody knew what happened. The screen went white, and I came out victorious.
Wow.
For that match, and then he OCV'd me the next match.
But you got that
hey,
one.
I have a hype moment. You know what? That to me, that I think tells Triforce that I am marketable. And I'm gonna get the Empire's name out there. So you guys, wish me luck on Empire. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, all the luck to you in the world. I was playing some Super Turbo this weekend. I found out this weekend that when you give me an opportunity to pile drive someone with Zangief, I do not take it. I'm used to working for every pile drive, like ticking and working my way in, and like walk-ups and all that, all the tricks. But when I stun someone and it's like, here you go, Jared. Here is your pile driver. I'm just like, doing, doing. I'm like, oh, I can't do it. So, I had an enjoyable time playing some Super Turbo here. Rambat for it this Sunday. I'm extremely excited.
That's right.
And I'm also extremely excited about this fantastic show we got for you today. It's just straight from Japan. Shocking results, controversial battles, and there was also a Street Fighter tournament as well. Super Battle Opera 2011, the biggest tournament in Japan, took place this weekend. If you haven't heard about it, you're going to hear more than you will probably ever want to hear about it, and it's going to be a blow up.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. SBO 2011, a lot went down. If you've been checking the interwebs over the past couple of days, even I Play Winter today, it's the topic that's on everybody's mind. So that's one. And then what else we got?
We got new characters for, can you believe it? Every single fighting game ever made. Ever made. Street Fighter Cross Tekken, Ultimate Marvel, Persona, Primal Rage,
World Heroes,
Weapon Lord. Like every single fighting game has a new character this week. So that segment is going to take us about 7 hours. So settle in, cancel your plans. It's going to be a long one. Also, we got a new interview from Yoshinori Ono, Grandmaster Troll Supreme, the producer of the Street Fighter 4 series. Also producer of Street Fighter Cross Tekken. He's in Explain Pandora mode. So if you're like us and you maybe had a little heart palpitation when you heard of a possible comeback mechanic, I think he is going to come here to unflip the table.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
So we're going to have an extremely packed show for you guys tonight. We're going to take a very quick break and we will get right back into it. So stay tuned. Guys, welcome back to Frame Trap. Oh, that's a blow up. Hey guys, guess what? Thanks for sticking with us for the next hour of technical difficulties. You know what? It turns out you cannot get an audio technician outside of a liquor store like 5 minutes before the show. You can't do that. That is something that you cannot do. So that guy has been replaced. In his place is the lovely, always lovely Chris Egg Shinobi. You guys love him. All right, so let's get down to business. New characters in every fighting game ever. I told you this was going to be a 7-hour segment. I lied. It's going to be about 5 minutes. Yeah. So first up, Persona 4, the Ultimate in Mayonaka Arena.
Hey, okay, all right. So I hate to interrupt you, but somebody in the I Play Winter comments basically cleared up this whole, for me, I have a hard time pronouncing the name of this game.
I said Mayonaka. Last week I said Mayonaka.
Well, that's, you know what? They said in the comments, just call Ultimate Mayo. Persona 4 Ultimate Mayo. It's easy for me. That's what I'm going to
That's
call
what I
it.
pick up when I go to the grocery store. I don't want Miracle Whip. I don't want any of that other stuff. I want the Ultimate Mayo. I just want all of it.
Yeah.
So we got 2 new characters. Hans, I'm going to be completely 100% honest with you. While we do our best to do our thorough research here on Frame Trap, we have demonstrated a clear lack of knowledge when it comes to the Persona series. That is something that we are going to have to work on, as it is now a fighting game. It is no longer just a Japanese RPG. The new characters, Kanji Tatsumi and Yukiko Amagi, I can't tell you anything about them.
Yeah, over the past week, I was so busy I didn't really have time to play any Japanese RPGs to find out anything about these characters. But
at least we're honest.
But the trailer itself, it looked pretty similar to the trailer the previous trailer that they had.
If you didn't know any better, this is the last week trailer. It is brand new.
Yeah, and so I had to watch through the.
That guy in the background with his hands like this, like that. He's pretty much that's how I feel sometimes.
Yeah. So if you look at the beginning, it looks like the same trailer, but they do reveal a couple new characters here, as we mentioned. Overall, I still think the game is looking fantastic. We'll see. Geez, they really just blabble on about this game for the first minute of this trailer. But this, I think this we've seen.
Right, these are the characters we have actually already seen.
Yeah, and SiliconEra.com, they actually have a quick preview from Tokyo Game Show. They're talking about the button layout. It sounds like the game has sort of a BlazBlue kind of button layout. They're obviously borrowing elements from other Arc System Works games.
Right.
I think they have like bursts and roaming cancels and some new stuff as well.
There's one of the new characters.
That's one of the new characters. Yeah, and then I guess
he has a folding chair. I like him.
Like WWE.
He's like Laparca.
But yeah, so you use their personas. I guess it sounds like similar to how you use like the drive attack in BlazBlue.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, that's probably the closest thing I could relate it to, even though it's it looks like it's going to be a completely different game.
So does that mean that the attacks on the persona is that it's kind of regulated to its own specific button?
That's what it sounded like. But they're saying there's a lot of like specific button presses, like A and C does something, A and B does something.
Okay.
Yada yada yada. Go to SiliconEra.com or you go iPlayWinner.com. I think I linked to it a couple days back, and you can read up all about the game. But so they do show a couple new characters again. And again, I think the game looks pretty awesome so far.
Looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, a game that I feel that we are all a little more familiar with would be Soulcalibur 5. 2 new characters announced during Tokyo Game Show. We have Astaroth, who is a returning character from the original Soulcalibur and on.
Yeah.
And also we have Viola, who is a brand new character.
Brand new character. Apparently she's working with one of the other new characters. I don't really know how to pronounce the other dude's name. Is Zoe, I think, or something like that.
Yes.
It's something about the story they're working together. But yeah, she's.
We're white. I don't know if you've noticed this. We're bad at pronouncing anything remotely Japanese.
It's not Clyde or Jeff or something.
No. Is his name Brad?
Yeah. And then Astaroth, any of you who played was it Soulcalibur 2 on Dreamcast? I think he was in he's been in it forever. And I just remember Astaroth. They used to just lame it out with flying axe chops and stuff. So.
Oh yeah. I used to be in Soulcalibur 2. I went from being a Zanshua main to a Astaroth main because in Soulcalibur 2, the way they changed Astaroth, they're like, this character is a little weak. You know what we should do? We should make him twice as fast, and all of his attacks, let's just attach another attack onto it. And I was like, that's sick.
Wait,
right.
that was Soulcalibur 2?
Yeah, that's Soulcalibur 2. Yeah, it's like okay, like back in K, all right, in Soulcalibur 1, he do 1 stomp. Soulcalibur 2, he does 2 stomps. just stuff like that. Like, all right, I can go with that. But yeah, I'm a really big Astaroth fan. So I guess from my perspective, now I have a character that I'm looking forward to trying out this game with.
Yeah.
Soulcalibur 5, was that an assist?
That's that Zwei guy. I'm butchering his name, I'm sure, but he uses some sort of like
power wave
assist type little monster buddy, I guess, that he uses. There he is. Yeah, dog.
Yeah. Well, wow, Astaroth, he is looking quite different. I mean, he's one of those characters. He's kind of like Valdo or Yoshimitsu, where just about every game they seem to completely change his character. It used to be that his heart was like exposed.
Right, yeah, exactly,
Now maybe he looks more robotic this time around. So maybe this does take place 17 years later. They are kind of coy about that. But maybe that's one of those characters that actually saw an evolution. And here's the new character, Viola.
This is actually the first time I've watched this.
Is she a wizard? She's got a claw.
Yeah, it looks like she used some sort of like crystals or orbs to attack. I guess.
Yeah. Well, all we can do right now is really speculate.
She looks cool. I think that's a really cool character design, though. I think I'm actually liking most of the newer characters that aren't like. I think like Pariah is sort of like a kickback to Cassandra. I think it was. Some of them look kind of similar, but some of the newer ones they've revealed I think are pretty cool character designs in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean I think they're actually quite a bit more tame than say Soulcalibur 3 and 4. I feel like that series started losing its way in a bit in its character design. It started to go like more and more let's start making like extreme caricatures of these characters. I feel like Soulcalibur 5 is a bit more return to sanity.
Yeah.
So it's very cool. Next up, Tekken Tag Tournament 2. You thought you were done with the cast? Not. It's Hidden Boss.
Yeah, I don't think we have video of this guy. I don't think so.
He doesn't speak English.
Yeah. So, I guess new boss, Tekken Tag Tournament 2.
Yeah, unknown. Who was the boss from Tekken Tag Tournament?
Unplayable?
Was she playable? She might have been playable in the home version. We're really reaching back now, but she is so far not playable in the arcade version of Tekken Tag Tournament 2. She's the boss as she was in the original Tekken Tag, and then after that, if you meet some certain circumstances, you can fight against Jun in some weird Happy Land stage. So,
really? Okay, yeah, definitely don't remember that, but Tekken Tag Tournament 2, as far as I know, came out in Japan or dropped in Japanese arcades last week, end of last week. Again, check out iPlayWinner.com. There's a lot of I post up some direct footage of just like arcade footage. I guess a lot of people playing it now. There's also a couple new trailers that came out about the tag assault system and whatnot. So looks like the game's coming together pretty well, but I have no clue when we're ever going to see it stateside. So
yeah, probably not until the home version. I have some shocking news to deliver to you.
Yeah.
New characters for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. All right, are you ready? Are you ready for this reveal? They have revealed 2 new characters for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I was shocked, and I was like, "Who are these new characters? Who could possibly be in this game?" And guess what?
I had no idea.
It's Virgil from Devil May Cry. And are you ready for that? Are you ready to have your mind blown out of your skull?
What?
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist. Okay. Yeah, I don't keep with Marvel
2
comics.
brand new characters announced just this past week. Never before.
Well, look at the virtual footage. I think he looks badass, and that's pretty much the only way you can describe it. Now, one thing that I think is
just scribble that in your notebook. Looks badass.
Well, I mean, no, he looks pretty badass. I mean, even like just for fighting game characters in general, just all of his attacks and movements, the cross ups and teleports and everything looks like
he definitely looks like he fits in with Dante.
Yeah, it seems like very extremely. I guess he has some sort of devil trigger as well. I don't know. I don't know what. Yeah. So, and yeah, come on, that is badass. How else can you describe that? It's a badass. That is a badass super. But
cold. It looked like ice swords.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to giving him a shot. I don't think I played him I didn't play much Devil May Cry 3. I think I got back into the series Devil May Cry 4. But I know one of his alternate costumes is Nero from Devil May Cry 4, which I was kind of expecting to see Nero in the game.
Yeah,
instead of Virgil, but yeah.
Maybe Capcom would like to move away from Devil May Cry 4, especially since they have DMC coming out by Ninja Theory.
Right. Okay, but no, I really like Virgil's design. I like some of his attacks. Looks like I like a cross-up attack that it's gonna be pretty nasty with the help of an assist or something. So I don't know. I think he's gonna be a really strong character, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yep. And Iron Fist is, of course. We have that trailer.
Yeah.
Iron Fist, one of the coolest characters in the Marvel universe. What else can you say?
Is he though? I've never heard of him.
You've never heard of Iron Fist?
I've never heard of Iron Fist.
I believe at one point he was on an Avengers team. He's one of those characters. Iron Fist and also has Nova been officially announced yet?
Who?
All right, screw it. Nova and Iron Fist are two of those characters that, and along with Doctor Strange, I feel like Ultimate Marvel for the comic book fans is really, both Marvel and Capcom really playing it up for hardcore comic book fans. You know,
Yeah, seems like it. Yeah,
they are definitely some of the hardcore favorites there.
I mean, you're getting characters like this instead of like Cyclops or Psylocke. You know, you're getting.
Don't remind me because I really want to see Cyclops.
Yeah, I really want to see Cyclops as well, but you're getting a lot of characters that I'm not familiar with, but definitely look really cool. Looks like a melee character. He's got to get in your face. I didn't see any projectiles or anything, so
we'll see how that goes for him.
Yeah, it looks like I don't know. It looks like stance. You can see like the color on his hands is changing when he's attacking stuff. So I don't know. It looks interesting, but we'll have to see how he holds up in Marvel with
beam assist.
Yeah, beams and something like Ghost Rider's whip that goes all the way across the screen.
So we also saved the best for last. These little guys right here. It's Toro and Kuro, who are
it's right there.
Yeah, there you go, buddy.
Who are those? Who are those guys?
So Toro and Kuro are basically the Japanese PlayStation mascots, or at least they are the closest thing to a PlayStation mascot they have in Japan. Here in the U.S., there is really no
Crash Bandicoot.
Well,
Cole? No, I don't know. Yeah, there really isn't any.
Oh, the guy from Prototype? No. They are kind of like, I wouldn't say the face of it, but they are used, a lot in Sony Japan products. They had their own kind of free-to-play daily game that you could download on PlayStation Network.
Okay.
Crash Bandicoot was not. He was kind of a mascot. But Sony didn't own that. I don't know. It was very confusing. But they are going to be exclusive to the PlayStation Vita version of Street Fighter Cross Tekken. So. That's an additional bonus. There's not much to say.
Yeah.
They look really goofy in the game because, of course, they're very, very small and lanky, and they are made of cats. So
it's the Vita version of the game only?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, a Vita for Japan because U.S. Vita Street Fighter Cross Tekken is getting the guy from Prototype. I mean Uncharted. I mean Kill Switch. I mean Psyops.
Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain, yes, the guy from Heavy Rain.
Infamous.
Resistance.
Oh, okay.
The guy from Resistance.
Yeah.
So he is. I would rather have these guys. These guys look fun. So with that,
I think you're alone in that. Because I don't want them in my console game.
Hey man, I imported Marvel vs. Street Fighter for Saturn so I could get the comedian guy. All right, I like my joke characters.
Oh yeah, what's that guy's name? I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Anyway.
So there you go. New characters for every fighting game ever.
Yeah.
Except for all the games that we didn't cover that have.
Yeah, we wanted to get to the new World Heroes and Weapon Lord characters, but I think we're running out of time. We got to get on to the next segment.
You can find out all about new characters for Breaker's Revenge and Daraku Tenshi only at iPlayWinner.com. It is an exclusive, by the way.
Yeah, so go there right now. Check it out.
All right, guys. When we come back, we're going to be talking about Yoshinori Ono on Street Fighter Cross Tekken and the future of Street Fighter 4, so stay tuned. All right, we are back here on Frame Trap Live on iPlayWinner TV here at Southtown Arcade in San Francisco. New interview with Yoshinori Ono, and he might not have been trolling for once. I think he was actually being fairly consistent on his feelings on his two new games, Street Fighter Cross Tekken and Super Street Fighter 4 : Arcade Edition version 2012.
Yeah, Ver. 2012. Yeah.
So last week, in case you didn't tune into the show, shame on you. Last week, we showed off the new trailer of Street Fighter Cross Tekken, which had a plethora of features, just features on top of features. The most significant of which was the inclusion of Pandora mode, which is, for the sake of conversation, we'll just call it the new comeback mechanic in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. And what it does is it allows you to sacrifice your partner for the benefit of gaining unlimited super meter and a couple other interesting buffs that they haven't quite revealed. There's like more to it than what we know right now. But your life drains, and it's either you defeat them or you just automatically get KO'd.
So the way it works, you're basically sacrificing your partner. for a damage power boost, but they have to. The partner's life has to be down to like 25%, I think it is, or something like that, and then you can activate it. So, okay, yeah. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, we when we showed it last week, we were freaking out, but it was probably because we were probably getting a contact high from that trailer. Like it was just all these crazy Tron colors. Yeah. Like I felt like I had Magneto hands from MVC2. I didn't know what I was seeing. But, I would definitely like to see a more thorough explanation about it. In this interview, Yoshinori Ono explains that it was intended to provide a more Tekken feel, his words, and that it was, a throw of the dice in order for you to make kind of like one last push. Because and that's, I would absolutely agree with that, because what you're doing is you're basically saying, like, I'm either going to defeat you right now or I'm automatically going to lose.
Right.
So, I think the intention of Pandora mode, if this interview that GameSpot conducted at TGS is to be understood, is that it's kind of intended to take the place of Rage.
Yeah.
Because, in Tekken, for those who aren't familiar with Tekken, when you get down to the last 5 to 10% of your life, you automatically activate Rage mode, and that gives you, a damage buff. It allows you to make, so that when you do get that one meaty combo, it's going to be this really huge deal. I believe the Pandora mode is intended to be something akin to Rage, not quite, but maybe that is the intention behind it. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I guess it's the type of thing we have to see how it, how it plays out in the actual game, of course. With any sort of... Yeah, I guess, again, for the sake of conversation, comeback mechanic, even if that's not actually what it is, but, any sort of mechanic that gives your character some sort of extra abilities, some sort of power-up, it's the type of thing where, it can have a huge impact on the game for better or for worse, and in some cases for worse. So we'll have to see how it works with certain characters. I mean, if you can, if you can do it in certain combos, if what sort of setups, if it has, if it's a little glitchy in some instances,
or if you can activate it in the middle of a combo.
Yeah, or like during block stun or something, similar to like X Factor or something like that. So we'll have to. I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, I like the way it looks, but I'm just I'm not a huge fan of any sort of comeback mechanic or like super like power boosts or like even I even think like Rage is pretty silly and Tekken. It's just you can see someone doing so well in a Tekken match and just like bop right there, and then they're in Rage, and then it's over and done with. So it's just I kind of miss honest fighting games. Where it's
the thing about comeback mechanics, and again, for the sake of conversation, the thing about these style of mechanics in fighting games is that the intention of them is to give players of lesser skill levels a greater chance to be more competitive, or to provide a more dramatic finish. Provide it more drama to a match. But the thing is that when you give these comeback mechanics to top players, to players who are already good, now you're just giving them a completely new tool, like a new weapon. It's like basically like dropping a bazooka in the hands of a trained killer. It's like, sure, you can give a bazooka to a 6-year-old, he might do some damage, but now with a trained professional, he's gonna like blow up something pretty significant.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it. I think you're right. It's part of it is adding a little bit of hype to the game and the matches, and I think that's the intention. But as we've seen with X Factor and Ultras and stuff, a lot of times it just results in a groan from the audience. Just like, oh god, X Factor. So I hope it doesn't end up being something like that. Where, as you said, it's just something that top players can abuse, and when it's just supposed to be there as maybe an extra element for hype or to help newer players, kind of level the field a little bit. But again, as you said, when it's a really powerful gameplay mechanic, top players are just going to abuse it anyway, so we'll see.
Although maybe the intention of, when you activate Pandora mode, apparently, your life drains out. Maybe that's kind of the fail-safe, where it's like, this sounds like it can be a very powerful, tool to make a comeback. But like, if you don't pull this off, you're completely screwed.
Well, like the bigger picture, I think with Street Fighter Cross Tekken, some of the things that kind of worry me is I hope that some of these mechanics and these like the Cross Assault. I think I mentioned this on one of our previous episode. I just hope it doesn't turn into just a gimmick and it doesn't get used at all. Where
that's true.
Like you said, it ends up draining your life too quickly, and you just never really see it. And it's like, well, why spend the time putting that stuff in the game anyway if it's not going to get used. And same with the cross assault stuff. Right now it looks a little goofy. Is the way you set it up. It looks kind of powerful, but we'll have to see if this kind of stuff is even utilized by top players in tournament matches in the first place.
And then in the event that it isn't quite useful, hope that isn't something that can be the result of an execution error, and then you just suicide. Yeah. The other significant thing that came out of this interview was another feature reveal for Street Fighter Cross Tekken that came out of Tokyo Game Show, and that is the inclusion of a gem system, which is over by the super meter. There are these little little dots, and they are gem slots. And what it is it's basically a way for Capcom to introduce something kind of similar to maybe a collectible card game, where the idea behind these gems are the gems will essentially be buffs for characters. Like, they didn't mention anything specifically, so I'll just make up one. Let's say you want to play Ryu, but you wish Ryu did more damage. So you would take a gem and you apply it to Ryu that would say, okay, this will give him, +2 strength, and now your Ryu hits harder than someone else's Ryu.
Well, I was say in the interview, I think he did mention that it can also give your characters other attacks, and don't quote me on that. I just remember that he said something,
or it alters the properties of existing moves.
Right, exactly. And I think that might be interesting. Like if perhaps like it Ryu's base, he doesn't have like the donkey kick or something. I think he does have it in the game, but like you could say, okay, well I would rather have the Jodan kick rather than the Hurricane kick, and so you kind of like swap out moves. I don't know. It's definitely an interesting concept. He had mentioned Ono mentioned actually, I think it was like 3-4 months ago that he kind of hinted, well, I'd like to make a fighting game where you can customize your characters and players can really make the characters their own. So what are your thoughts on it? You think it's cool or what?
Also the other thing that you can do with gems is also customize their appearance, whether it's character colors or maybe accessories, something like that. My only concern, because it's one of those things where it's like I'm not gonna go against it right away because I want to see the application of it, because it could very well give much more depth to the game, or just like an interesting mechanic that we just haven't seen before in a fighting game, or I should say in a fighting game for a very significant time, because there was Phantom Dust for what was that one, that collectible card / fighting game for Xbox? I think it was Phantom Dust.
I don't remember.
Anyways. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I just want to see the applications of it. But also, my concern is if this relies upon save games, that'll make running tournaments where gems are, gems are allowed much more difficult. If we have to all carry on memory cards so we have our characters, or if they are all unlocked at the beginning, now this is going to add. All right, now you got to do button checks, and now you got to do gems, and then you got to do this and that, and it's so it could bog things down, or it could just not be used due to inaccessibility. So I mean, those are my concerns about it. But overall, like, I want to see the applications of it, and I very well could add something really, really cool to the game.
And again, it goes back to what I was saying before. Is I hope it sounds like you're just throwing everything in the kitchen sink at Street Fighter Cross Tekken. You have the gyms, you have Pandora, you have Cross Assault, you have the supers, and all this stuff. And I just worry that as you're saying, that a lot of the stuff just kind of like falls the wayside. It ends up just being maybe gimmicks. People don't really utilize it at tournaments, like the gym system, or even at casuals. You just say, hey, you want to play some Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and it's like, you really want to set your gyms again, dude? It's like, or you don't have the DLC gyms, or you don't have the I don't know.
Oh, DLC gems. Ooh, I like the monetization master in me is like getting excited for that. All right, no, that's a bad idea. Don't give them that idea.
I mean, it's probably coming. DLC gems, man. You want a Shin Shuriken for Ryu? You gotta pay for it, buddy.
So basically, you're I think we're all afraid that gems will become the new outside layout, where you go to a session, you're like, hey, let me get next on that. Why are you playing on the outside buttons, remap buttons, or like someone doesn't want to remap their buttons, or stuff like that?
The first thing that came to mind when I saw the gym system is Materia from Final Fantasy. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Also, the Final Fantasy Dissidia fighting game for PSP actually has a system quite similar to that. So it is funny that you brought that up. I thought you were going to say Marvel vs. Capcom and Infinity, and like all that stuff. Oh, you never played Marvel vs. Superheroes?
I haven't actually, but I was reading that they had a similar system in that game as well. So.
Well, actually, what that was you would start with a gem, and then you could pop it out of the other guy, or someone would drop and stuff like that, and then you could activate your gem, and that would put a power up. So like you get Spider-Man with a speed gem, and then you're just like, oh, get blown up. So
okay.
Also in this interview, wasn't all just Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Of course, Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition version 2012. That was discussed as well. And Ono actually, went in this interview and just said, I want to move on. I don't, I just want to put Street Fighter 4 behind me. This is intended to be the ultimate definitive version. His words were, it's intended to perfect the game. Mm-hmm. I think they got a long ways to go. If that's the goal. That's a lofty goal.
Yeah. This interview, out of all of Ono's interviews, I actually found it to be one of the most interesting because he was so candid about his feelings about the Street Fighter series and even some of the other games he wants to move on to. And it sounds like he's like, look, the version 2012. I know I made a mistake with Yun and Yang and the bounces and stuff. So this is, and he even said at Evo that he's. They're releasing this is to appease the fans and whatnot. But it sounds like, from the interview, it sounds like he's just like, look, I'm done with Street Fighter 4. I want to move on. Look, here's your last balance patch, and it is what it is. Play the game. Hope you guys enjoy it. But he mentioned, he's ready to move on to other games. And he mentioned Street Fighter 5 or Darkstalkers. So.
Yeah. And while I have personally dropped Street Fighter 4 with Arcade Edition, I am extremely thankful that version 2012 is coming out, because can you actually imagine if Arcade Edition, as it is today, that is the last Street Fighter 4? Like, all right, guys, enjoy Yun and Yang. We are out of here, and it's like, oh, that would be really painful. So I am very interested to see how 2012 comes out, because I love Street Fighter 4, and that's not how I want to leave it. Because it's not a game that I particularly enjoy playing anymore, and I would like to be able to go back and play Street Fighter 4, maybe not competitively, but just casually, because right now I don't want to do either with that game.
Really, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a very it's a very noble goal, and we'll have to see how that turns out, and we'll also have to see how this break turns out. Hopefully, goes very well, because I'm going to drink iced tea. So when we come back, the iPlay Winner Department of Corrections is open for business. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back to Frame Trap. The iPlay Winner Department of Corrections, open for business. Hans, you have the floor.
Yeah, so we posted a video interview versus Fighting TV with Japanese Third Strike player MOV. He's a really famous Chun-Li
player. Or as I like to call him, Quick Time. Oh! All right.
Anyway, moving on. So in the title and in the original translation, that he was saying that, or it's translated that he was saying that he felt that Chun-Li should be banned from SBO.
Not the case.
And that's not the case. It was a bad translation. Just want to clear that up right now. What he was saying is that his Chun-Li is so powerful that his Chun-Li should be banned from SBO. Well, in so many words. It basically, that's not correct at all either. But no, he was basically saying that I think he just feels it's unfortunate that he's forced to play Chun-Li because there's so many other strong players at SBO each year in Third Strike. So he feels it's an interesting game, but he feels like the way it was translated, it sounded like he's just a little disappointed that he has to rely on Chun-Li in big tournaments like that. But anyway, they you should definitely check out the interview. It's really cool. He goes over his thoughts on Third Strike, what makes it different than Street Fighter 4. There's a lot of really good stuff in there. It's on iPlayWinner.com. This is like on the second or third page now, but check it out when you get a chance.
Yeah, and all right. So speaking of things that maybe shouldn't be at SBO, Dead or Alive 5 is announced. We got the pre-alpha trailer here. Now, you know what? I am actually a very big Dead or Alive fan. I followed the series since the beginning. I rolled the clock at 99 hours on Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. So I don't know why I just said that out loud, but I did. And to be honest, so here's the thing about Dead or Alive 5. Or I should say Dead or Alive in general. A lot of hardcore fighting game fans, in the community, they love to hate this series because it's, to be fair, it is not a game that it's not that it's technically it's not that it's not technically sound, but there is clearly not a lot of depth to it. But it's fast, it's flashy, it's fun. It's really easy to get into, and when you get two players who immerse themselves in it quite a bit, it's actually a lot of fun. It's a fighting game that is accessible and not to be taken too seriously. And here in Dead or Alive 5, this pre-alpha trailer, there's actually quite a bit going on. Oh, it's over. I just talked over the entire thing. So there's actually a few things going on here that are definitely different for the series. The anime plastic doll look is gone. The characters are rendered in they retain that art style, but they're much more realistic looking. They don't look like Ken and Barbie dolls anymore.
Right.
Also, if you look closely, the characters appear to be sweating now. I don't know if that's what kind of goes on during the course of a fight. But also, these stages are seemingly inspired by a racing title that came out last year from Disney Interactive called Split Second, where the Dead or Alive series always known for their really intricate backgrounds, but here you see that the background is like getting the building is getting crushed while they're still fighting on it. Before in Dead or Alive, when an event would be triggered in a stage, you would see the event like a cinematic, and then that's it. Where now it's like it's happening in real time. So that's really, really cool to see. And also here, it seems like maybe that's a tease of some different kind of gameplay mechanic. Maybe before it's just you knock a guy off the cliff and then you both jump down. And that's it. Maybe now there's some sort of gameplay mechanic to it. Maybe you can fight your way back up. Who knows? I, for one, am very excited for Dead or Alive 5. Like I said, I'm a really big fan of the series. I hope for the best. It's probably still not going to be a very competitive game, but it's definitely one that I'm looking forward to spending a lot of time with.
Well, I think it definitely has its community out there. I know there's a lot of, there's definitely, I mean, for some it is definitely a competitive game. I think, within...
Well, I play Jackie Chan competitively, so
yeah.
anything can be competitive.
Yeah, people play rock, paper, scissors competitively. So
Devastation,
whatever. But the one thing that stood out to me in that trailer was the backgrounds and the stages, and I thought that could be a lot of fun to play. If the fight is kind of dictated by what's going on the stage, it could it's enough for me to want to try out the game.
Yeah, we'll have to see if like that kind of interactivity kind of involves the match. Like, so if you're playing, they didn't get involved in that, but if you're playing the match and a pillar falls on your character, right? Like, is that it, or do they separate those characters? We'll have to see. So we're going to take another quick break here, and when we come back, the main event, Super Battle Opera. I can't wait. But you know what? We're all going to have to. We will be right back. Behold, Optic Blast! That is a preview of the next 15 minutes frame trap. So this past weekend, Japan's biggest fighting game tournament, Super Battle Opera, also known as Togeki, the annual Arcadia Cup, sponsored by Arcadia Magazine, owned by Enterbrain. So let's just get into the results really quick. I mean, because if you guys aren't aware of how SBO works, SBO holds qualifiers all over the place, all over Japan, all over the U.S., Kuwait, Taiwan, China, all over the place. So you have to enter a qualifier, get your golden Willy Wonka ticket, and then be whisked away on your own bill to SBO. And so we have a lot of team tournaments here, and you want to hop into the results here real quick?
Yeah, so they had 4 games. Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, Kazunoko, who is I think currently the second highest rated Yun BP-wise in the arcade, and Oji-san, who's playing Yang. They took first. They beat Nemo and Kaibetsu. Kaibetsu won, I think it was Super Battle Opera 09, and he's using Viper. Michael Tan and Hashigashira-san plays Yun. Michael Tan plays Ken, and then Daigo and Io, who's playing Ibuki. I guess they tied for third with Michael Tan. And Super Turbo.
Magical new DJ technology. Seth Killian was talking about this after 17 years or something like that? Magical new... no, not 17 years. Magical new DJ technology that made him a top-tier character.
Yeah, so I guess this was a 3-on-3 tournament for Super Turbo, and Okafe, he plays Fei Long, Seki plays DJ, and Shooting D plays Ryu. They took first, and then I know we're limited on time here, so I'm just going to go down to the next game. BlazBlue, Conan, who plays Tsubaki, took first, and then Aquapaza, which was also included at SBO for whatever reason. Go One took first place at Aquapaza. So four games at Togeki this year.
And thus concludes our positive coverage of Super Battle Opera. So, Aquapaza. So for those who are wondering, well, what's Aquapaza? It's anime fighting game. But just about every year, SBO does have one sponsor game that, it's essentially marketing. 1 year they did, I believe Fist of North Star was actually a sponsor game. No, Sengoku Barasa Basara?
Yeah, Basara X. Yeah.
God, man, we are terrible
Yeah.
at pronunciation.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always do something like that. But I'll be honest, when the stream started, which Art, the owner of Southtown, had to pay $20 for us to have the pleasure of viewing here at the arcade. When it started, we were all so hyped to see SBO. We were so excited that I was freaking out over Aquapaza. I was just like everything. I was starting like the hey, happy feet, super. You know, like everyone was really freaking out. We were so excited.
Yeah.
But then Super Street Fighter 4 started, and that's when we started getting updates from Japan about via Twitter, via Fubardoc, and a couple other folks who were out there. Where to even begin on this? So, as I mentioned, Super Battle Opera, you need to enter a qualifier in order just to enter. You need to win this qualifier, and that basically gets you into the bracket for the tournament. And all the qualifying teams for Super Battle Opera Street Fighter 4 were in clear display on the program guide bracket, and I believe on the website as well. Just like plain view. If you were at SBO, you got a program guide, you would look it up, you'd be like, oh, there's Mike Ross, Filipino champ, and there's Team Planet Zero, and all these other great players. Not the case when they showed up.
Yeah.
So they also held last chance qualifiers in which Daigo Umehara and Io were given basically free draft. Basically, they were just kind of.
I didn't hear about that. Yeah.
That's word on the streets.
Yeah.
But so let's just skip a lot of that. So basically, what happened was upon arrival, Team Planet Zero, which was Shen Chang and Banana Ken, along with Team Kuwait, were informed that their qualifiers were not legitimate. They were told, despite having a tournament, despite receiving their SBO golden ticket, despite having pictures of them, this is like the defeats Truman thing. Like this is our new thing here. Despite going through all this, despite flying to Japan to compete in SBO, they were told that they had not qualified. They were not in the bracket. Despite probably having the bracket in the program guide in their hand saying, well, wait a minute, why aren't we in here? So what essentially happens here, now the obvious thing would have been to be like, okay, let's take a step back here. Let's look at this bracket that we made that is clearly screwed up, but we have this one right here that is already, it's already complete.
Yeah.
Why don't we just swap the brackets?
Or just open up Challenge, all right, and reseed everybody, and put them in there. I mean, it's if they're in the program guide, they had to have some knowledge that they're coming. That just blows my mind that nobody knew they're coming, and they showed up as this big surprise. They weren't able to compete in the main tournament.
But how could it have been a surprise when they printed it out already?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Something really isn't adding up about the whole thing. So at the end of the day, they had to play against Team Kuwait to even get into or have a chance to even get into the main bracket to begin with.
Right. So they had Team Planet Zero of Shen Chang and Banana Can. Oh, and by the way, Shen Chang, they actually had in the program guide like a little pictorial on like, here's the picture of Shen Chang and here's all about him. Like they knew he was coming. Shen Chang and Banana Can had to play Team Kuwait, which is Nox 2 and Ganoon. Unfortunately, Team Planet Zero lost that match, so the team from Kuwait got to go in there, and and when and the reason why this actually happened, this probably would not have even took place. They probably would have said, all right, well, bye. But they had Fubardoc and I believe the owner of Planet Zero there essentially negotiating for the players to try and figure out a way that these two teams that had already qualified, that already did everything, they already have their ticket, they had to negotiate just to get them an extra match that would determine who would actually go on here. And you have to imagine that you go through all this, you fight hard through an SBO qualifier in your region, then you have to, on your own dime, fly 18 hours out to Japan with this one intent purpose. And we talked about this last week. Americans, or I should just say foreign players, do not fare well at SBO. You fly 18 hours to play theoretically one match because it's single elimination, and then you go home. They did all this to play one match, and they played a match that was not even official.
Yeah, right.
You know,
right,
it was this backroom negotiation.
Yeah.
So just a lot of intense drama here, and we were here at the arcade. We were watching it on the screen back there, and we were following along. You know, I was just refreshing Twitter like mad. You know, just trying to get some updates here, and that was not the only awkward element happening with Super Battle Opera in regards to foreign players.
There was, I mean, so was this confirmed that Team Taiwan or one of the teams from Taiwan came out there and then they also were not?
I'm honestly slightly fuzzy on that. Things are still kind of up in the air.
And again, while there was a lot of Twitter updates and a lot of drama around this, some of it's like there was some unconfirmed aspects as well.
Right.
But we heard
because a lot of those guys are still in Japan.
Yeah, so we heard through the grapevine there was another team from Taiwan that is saying similar situation happened. That again is not confirmed. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's just kind of a slap in the face. You get out there, this isn't Evo where you have 97 pools and you have to you didn't pre-register, you're not on the bracket, we can't go back and edit all these brackets and whatnot. I mean, it's like a 32-man bracket or something. Like I said, you just open up Challenge, you put them in the tournament, and you get things going. You let them fight, and that's what it boils down to, right? You don't. It's just a slap in the face to put them on some side stage to fight it out, and maybe you'll get into the tournament or something. I mean, come on, these guys. If you guys haven't been to Japan, the 12 to 14-hour flight over there is a pain in the ass. It's not. It's not fun, and it's a lot of money. And when you're going, I don't know. I know Shin Chang's been there before. I don't know if Banana can, but it's a trip that you look forward to. You want to go to Japan. You want to have a great time, and this is just horrible news to get when you're there, obviously. So for me, when I throughout the weekend and all the drama and after sort of like the dust settled and whatever else, it was a couple days where I kind of just stopped thinking about it and was went on with my with my life, I guess. But after reflecting over a couple days and then kind of coming back to it, and once some of the drama started at the beginning of the week and whatnot, the impact that the entire thing left on me is that they just want to keep this as sort of like a Japanese tournament, which is fine, and it seems like foreign players are just sort of an afterthought. That's the impression that I get. And there's nothing wrong with that, but let's just let it be that. Let it be a Japanese tournament, okay? Let it be a tournament where the top Japanese players come together. It's an homage to arcades and the theatrics that are there with the pyrotechnics and the lights. I've been there. It's awesome. It's a great event. I like the single elimination. I like the qualifiers. There's nothing wrong with the event, but look, if you just want it to be a Japanese event and we're just some sort of like sideshow, foreigners just some sideshow, just let it be a Japanese event. I'll still pay the $20 and watch it on Nico, and whatever else. But it's I don't know. It was definitely discouraging when it's all said and done. And instead of doing stuff like this, making them play on some sideshow like qualifier, instead of polluting our scene here in the States with drama that was caused not only at this qualifier, but there's some drama for almost all the qualifiers throughout the year, all across the United States. So, look, I'd rather our players not have to deal with that. We can use those weekends for our own tournaments here in the States. Hell, maybe we should just make our own Super Battle Bop-ya. That's what we should make is for here in the States. Something similar. I mean, if they don't want us to, that's fine. That is their choice. But I just wish they let us know and not have guys like Shin Chang, Banana Kin, Team Kuwait, have these guys jump through hoops and spend all this money to get out there and just to get this kind of news.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, while that was happening at the event itself, if you had paid $20 and jumped through the hoops to get a Nico count, all these credits, you would not have seen any foreign players. I mean, we got to the point where I was like, I just hope I see Team Kuwait. I just want
anything. Yeah.
I just want to know that they are not seemingly purposely leaving foreign players off the broadcast, because just about every match, we got all our updates for all the matches. through Twitter again, like Fubar going, hey, Mike Ross and Filipino Champ are playing right now, and I'm like, why are we seeing this?
Well, look, here's the thing: is that the whole stream situation. I know a lot of people are up in arms about. They paid $20. They're not satisfied that they didn't get to see foreign teams and all this other BS. I don't think the stream's really a big deal. I mean, I think a lot of that stuff just kind of comes off as honestly like a bunch of whining, honestly, because you should go into it if you're buying it through Nico Video. You should probably expect not to see any foreign matches. So I can't imagine anybody being really too surprised. It's a little bit of a bummer. Yeah, you pay the money, but it's not. I think people are really blowing that entire aspect of this whole thing way out of proportion. It's a Japanese stream, and this is the kind of stuff that, I mean, it's catered to the Japanese. So I wasn't real. I was like, it's. That kind of sucks, but but it still ties back to what I was saying just before. It seems like the foreigners being there. I think Fuberdoc even said that most of the matches, if not all the 4 matches, weren't even on the projector at the screen. It's like, look, if you just wanted to be a Japanese tournament, that's cool. Let's do your thing. We don't have to come. We can watch on Nico Video, and we know what to expect. There doesn't have to be all this, BS surrounding it.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. Like, basically, foreign players were left in the dark. They had to play these weird last chance qualifiers, behind the scenes. They weren't on the broadcast. If you were at the event, you didn't see foreign players play because they weren't on the projector setups. So it's almost as if foreign players at SBO just did not exist.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is SBO is just falling behind the times. I mean, that's like I said, I respect the tradition. I respect what they do as far as the tournament and the qualifiers. Like I said, I love the event at its core. But even I've read interviews with Japanese players saying that they prefer God's Garden type events, Topanga TV type events, and I think they feel the same way that the SBO is kind of falling behind. Yeah. They should know that they have international viewers tuning in. I mean, when we broadcasted Evo, it's like 2.2 million people watch this thing. With SBO, I doubt it was that much, but they have to know that there are people from all over the world watching, and they want to see their teams. And I think they're at the point where they have to decide: do we keep doing things the same way that we've been doing things? Do we keep this, or do we just maybe make some slight changes, just make this a Japanese tournament and that's it, or do we get with the times and try to really make it more of an international event?
Yeah, and that really is the core of all this. Like, the times have changed, and it is that the fighting game community is one that is international, that is very welcoming. I mean, and that's the thing that when I talk about the fighting game community, that's the one thing I always stress. It transcends race, gender, sexuality, everything. It is everyone, and it's everyone and anyone, really. And to have a major event or a major event like Super Battle Opera, one that is perceived to be very prestigious, to have them basically treat the international community in really a disrespectful manner, it's a bummer. It's very discouraging, and it makes me think, what would have happened if this had happened in like the StarCraft community or League of Legends, or what if that's what like organizational bodies like MLG and GSL actually prevent, because if this had happened in the StarCraft community, if we had like a Korean player come to MLG and then we decide, we're not going to put them on stage, and we're not going to show them, we're just going to have them play off here in this dark corner, that would have been a huge blow up. But I feel like even though while some people, some folks in the community are, exaggerating, blowing things out of proportion, I also feel that it is something that should be something of a teachable moment for the fighting game community to make a decision to be like, who are we going to support? What are we? What do we stand for? And do we move forward together, or do we, start kind of segregating these types of events? Because I think you're right. I think if SBO wants to have a Japanese tournament for Japan players in Japan, knock yourself out.
I'll tune in. Like I said, I'll check it out. And one thing I want to clarify is, I mean, they are actually very accommodating of foreign players. I'm not trying to make that accusation. I mean, this is a mishap. They even posted on their website an apology that this is a mistake. But you have guys like Cooney out there who actually got me tickets into SBO the year I went. So it's not like you just show up and you're lost and they don't even care that you're there. That's definitely not the case. But at the end of the day, stuff like this shouldn't be happening. And the way that it was handled, it just makes me hope that maybe they do make some adjustments on their end to change things. And
my final comment on this is that Super Battle Opera, Togeki, Arcadia, that is not representative of Japan or the Japanese fighting game community. I absolutely do not believe that because
Yeah.
there are amazing groups like Topanga, like God's Garden,
NSB, yeah.
NSB, who they are part of the international community. They make great strides to be part of that community and let us in there. And they are, you have been to God's Garden, and they were extremely accommodating.
Hatsu, your match. Yeah. No, they put me in the bracket. I mean, it's yeah, exactly. Like once you're there, I mean, you will get taken care of. That's not what this is about. It's just this was sounds like an unfortunate mistake to say the least. But it's I think Super Effects on Twitter was saying, hey, this is a conversation that I think we need to have at this point. As we mentioned on the previous show, it seems like the qualifiers, even here in the States, a lot of the players didn't seem as motivated to go. And it's like, well, why is that? Should we look at doing Super Battle Bop-ya here in the States, or are players still going to be motivated to go out to Japan? Where is SBO going? And I think that's something we're probably going to find out over the following 6 months as all this develops, and maybe they look at what they're doing. But
last week we were talking. Is SBO still influential? What does SBO mean? This did not help. This absolutely did not help.
And if you have comments on this, you can hit us up on Twitter with hashtag FrameTrap. Derry Husky also wrote an article with his thoughts, the salty run back, which has a real interesting introduction to it.
I actually go to iPlayWinner.com, read Derry's The Salty Run Back, and just follow the directions he gave you, because I did it in a work environment, and then I had to very quickly stop myself.
But you can leave your comments there. There's a lot of good discussion going on from both sides. And this is a real complicated subject, and obviously everybody has their opinion. But as I think again, Superfx said it best. This is a conversation worth having at this point. So
yeah, absolutely. So send us your thoughts on Twitter, hashtag FrameTrap, at Jared R, at Haunts, and when we come back, we will tell you about the week ahead on iPlayWinner, so stay tuned. All right, thank you guys so very much for sticking with us at this past hour. Before we go, Hans here has a really great announcement here for iPlayWinner.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about some of the upcoming events that we're covering. For one, we're going to be streaming Drumstruction. That's the end of October. You can go to, I think it's drumstruction.com for all the games and all the information. But we're going to be streaming Drumstruction. It's in Davis, California. It's in NorCal. It's going to be NorCal Major. Again, this is at the end of October. So still a little ways, but I'm going to have a post tomorrow on iPlayWinner that goes over all the details. Mark your calendar for this tournament. It's going to be awesome. It's put together by Drom's Comics by Jenkins Mitchell, I think is his full name. But he's been running tournaments at Drom's Comics in NorCal for years now. Huge supporter of this scene, a great guy. So he's reaching out and branching out rather, and putting together this major. It's going to be sick. So again, check out iPlayWinner.com tomorrow for full details, and keep in mind that we're going to be streaming it. So it should be good stuff. Also, let's see here.
This Thursday, tune in for the Street Fighter 3 stream.
Well, tomorrow we have Starbase Arcade.
Oh, yeah, Starbase.
Starbase Arcade, sort of a late-night Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, sometimes some Third Strike stream. There's always a lot of good play on there. We usually have, Filipino Champ, Dacid Bro, Crisis, a lot of pretty well-known NorCal players. We had mine there last week, top 8 at EVO. So, tune in to Starbase. It's a really fun kind of raw stream to check out.
Yeah.
Thursday, Third Strike Junkies. We have the top players. From mainly the East Coast or West Coast rather, not on the East Coast because of the latency.
Yeah.
So we try to keep it West Coast with a lot of family fun, old school Third Strike players. We've had 5-star. We have Yuki Spencer, who's actually from Texas, really good,
amazing players.
Yeah, professional yo-yo guy, by the way. And among others, we have Kinetics here in NorCal. I'm on there usually doing a little commentary with Fry. Check it out; it's a great stream. Third Strike Junkies, iPlayWinner TV, 8 p.m. on Thursdays. Friday. I don't know. I'm probably going to be eating Cheetos in bed. I don't think there's anything going on.
Sounds sick.
Friday or Saturday is probably run of the mill sort of for me. But Sunday, we're going to be back here at Southtown Arcade.
Super Turbo! I'm excited.
And we're gonna super
First Rambat!
Yeah, so Super Turbo Rambat with Third Strike, CVS2, a lot of old school, real honest fighting games. Honest fighting games. So tune in, check that out. We'll be streaming it here at Southtown on Sunday, and that starts at 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. And I want to give a special shout out to the King of Fighters tournament that we had this past Sunday. It was awesome. We had 5 players come up from SoCal, Kane317, 4Leaf, CMD Duck, Metaphysics, and Gibby all came up here for a King of Fighters 13 tournament. If you missed it, check the replays on iPlayWinner.com. That was one of the most amazing tournaments I've ever been involved with, period. It was so hype. Commentary was great. Check the replays. It's like 6 hours worth of King of Fighters footage, but these guys have been playing the game for quite some time. They came up here, and we had a blast. Everybody was just fighting their heart out. I haven't seen a tournament like that.
I haven't heard a tournament like that in a while.
Yeah, every match was it was really amazing stuff. So check that out if you haven't already. And let's see here. Yeah, at Haunts, at Jared R, at iPlayWinner on Twitter. You can also find us on Facebook facebook.com/iPlayWinner. And as always, check iPlayWinner.com every day for news, information, and crazy ass articles like what we saw from Derry today.
Yep. Let's go eat some sushi.
Yep.
All right, guys. See you next week, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. here on iPlayWinner TV. We will see you then.
Yep.
Here's the thing that makes life so interesting. The theory of evolution claims that only the strong shall survive. Maybe so. Maybe so. But the theory of competition says just because they're the strong doesn't mean they can't get their asses kicked. That's right. See what every long shot, come from behind underdog will tell you is this. The other guy may in fact be the favorite. The odds may be stacked against you, fair enough. But what the odds don't know is that this isn't a math test. This is a completely different kind of test. One where passion has a funny way of trumping logic. So before you step up to the fighting stick, before the start button is hit and the clock starts ticking, just remember out here, the results don't always add up. No matter what the stats may say and the experts may think, and what the commentators may have predicted, when the fight is on, all bets are off. Don't be surprised if someone decides to flip the script and take a pass on yelling uncle. And then, suddenly, as the old saying goes, we've got ourselves a real match.
Congratulations to Mr. Nash. Evolution 2011 champion, Budo!
And now for our final thought. You know, it's important that in these times, we, as the international fighting game community, take care of one another. It doesn't matter where you come from or what race you are or what gender or your sexuality. What's important is that we all contribute to pot. So take care of yourselves and your loved ones.